All right, thank you. That brings us to our next portion of the meeting, which is Spotlight for Boone County. Mr. Weeder.
Thank you, Chairman Mansell, members of the Board of Education, Superintendent Matt, staff, and the nice crowd we have here tonight. Tonight we're turning the spotlight right back on you, the Board of Education, because this week, March 12th through 16th, school systems throughout the state are saluting the efforts of local school board members during School Board Appreciation Week in Georgia. This week-long observance calls attention to the contributions of local boards of education and provides an opportunity for the community to thank you for your service, your time, and your commitment to our students and staff. As constitutional officers of Georgia, school board members are responsible for setting educational policies, employing school personnel, providing buildings and equipment, operating a transportation system, and dispersing school funds. As community leaders, school board members serve as advocates for the children in local public schools and must study, evaluate, and decide what actions are in the best interest of those students. Certificates of appreciation were placed at your seat prior to the meeting, and for those in our audience here tonight and those who were watching on TV or maybe even watching on our internet stream, we'd like to thank each of you personally. So we'll start with Ray Snow, who serves in the District 1 post and is in his 6th year on the Boone County Board of Education. Millard Allen serves in the District 2 post and is also in his 6th year on the board. John Madala serves in the District 3 post and he is in his 4th year on the board. Dr. Hank Juergens serves in the District 4 post and he is in his 2nd year on the board. Venus Holmes serves in the District 5 post and is in her 10th year on the Board of Education. I was going to say as our senior member, but I didn't want anybody to take that wrong, but I think we all know that you have the longest tenure on the board of your colleagues right now. Vice Chairman Mike Hulsey serves in the at-large post 1 and he's in his 8th year on the board, and Chairman Jerry Mansell serves in the at-large post 2 and he is in his 4th year on the board. This is our community's opportunity to thank you for your service. It's not always easy, the job that you do, but during this week, as communities are doing throughout the state of Georgia, we do thank you for the position that you've stepped up to in the job that you do for all of our students. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Brings us to our Citizens Adjusted Board portion of the meeting. I have a short preamble I'd like to read before. Board of Education has adopted a policy that permits citizens under certain circumstances to address the board on a variety of topics of general concern to the operations of our schools. We welcome visitors to board meetings and are interested in hearing from the taxpayers and the patrons of our school system. We have a few simple rules for public comment. Each person wishing to address the board must sign this roster. Each person is limited to 5 minutes, and the public comment portion of the meeting will not exceed 30 minutes. Any citizen who has a specific complaint involving an employee must first address the issue with the superintendent and, if not resolved, they may request to speak to the board. However, certain matters involving personnel and students must be heard in closed session. The superintendent will inform you whether your complaint is one which should be referred to an executive session with the board. By signing this sheet, you are agreeing to abide by these rules. And our first speaker tonight is Ms. Sandy Dean.
Hi, today I'm going to tell you a tale of two cities. On February 29th, I sent an open records request to Howard Mann, and I requested the ACT High School Profile Report, SAT District and School Level Report, Golden Isles Career Academy High School Student Enrollment for 2009, 2010, 2011, minimum class size requirements for GECO. That same day, February 29th, I received an email from Mr. Lakin stating that I'm getting up an estimate. Some of your requests will require staff time. On March 6th, I emailed Mr. Lakin asking any idea when I'm going to get my information. Later that same day, I received an email from Mr. Lakin. You will have our response by 5 today. We have 3 business days starting from the day after your request. That afternoon, I received my response. This will serve as the DOE response to the open records request received last Wednesday via email. Presently, GA Law is silent on emails, and as I stated, that request is to be in writing. I will overlook that technicality because I am responding to you via email. Your request requires staff time and research. It's not a question of giving you copies of documents or downloading computer files with the touch of a button. Dr. Borman estimated 4 hours, as did Ms. Spence, 1 hour. $120 less than 15 minutes. We will require a $114 deposit payable to Glenn County BOE before I direct the staff to do work. Copies are 25 cents. After we receive the deposit and the work is completed, should the time be greater, you would be billed. However, if the time is less, we'll give you a refund. This is a good faith estimate of the time and energy required to give you information. We value your interest, blah, blah, blah. On March 12th, I emailed Lakin asking, can you tell me which of the 4 data questions this additional staff time and effort pertain to? That same afternoon, I received an email. My client supplied the response, which was passed along to you. The GE law provides the procedures available to a citizen if they feel the open records request was not complied with. As a BOE attorney, I cannot answer your questions or give you advice. That same day, I emailed Howard Mann. Mr. Mann, the superintendent of the Glenn County School District, maybe you can find someone to answer my questions. His response via my email today was, my attorney has advised you how to get the information correctly. The rest is your responsibility. And when we receive the deposit, I will direct staff to do the research and give you information. On March 7th, I changed the names of the school from the original request to Effingham County High School and South Effingham High School, and from the Golden Isles Career Academy to Effingham College and Career Center. Then sent my request to the Effingham County School District. I received a call from the Effingham County School Board attorney asking if I would like my information electronically or sent via mail, or if I would just like to come and view it. I asked him how much it was going to cost. He said he didn't think there was a charge if I got it electronically or if I went to view them. I asked him to double check and get back to me. 10 minutes later, he calls me and says there's no charge as long as you want them electronically. They'll forward them email. So Mr. Lakin, as for Effingham, it is as easy to download computer files as a touch of a button. Someone, either administrator or an elected official, need to tell me why it's going to take Mrs. Borman 4 hours and Ms. Spence an hour to do what Effingham County can do in less than 15 minutes. As a taxpayer, I don't know why I should have to pay for your incompetent staff. But I did bring my check for $114, so will you please direct staff to give me my open records request?
Thank you, Ms. Dean. Our next, and I'm not quite sure, it says IAM.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
IAM is a newly formed coalition of organizations and people. We are a community school board. Our intent is to preserve the integrity of children's education. Our children and all children must have intellectual development. This board has not served that purpose. We're not here to be antagonistic, combative, arrogant, or egotistical. We're here to protect the interests of all young people in their intellectual advancement. IAM is here to let you know that kids' education first.
Our next speaker is, I'm sorry, I can't read the handwriting, Dickerson, Moses, and Williams. David Williams.
For the record, it's Kamaya Dickerson.
Thank you.
As the president of the newly formed coalition, I have heard the voice of the people who are frustrated, disappointed, and fed up with the results of the decisions made by this Board of Education. The decision to close Risley Early College Academy and the Performance Learning Center was not the voice of the parents, the students, or the community who are negatively impacted by it. This decision, like the decisions that you have made in the past, have caused a sense of hopelessness and despair among children who were promised and so were eagerly awaiting to meet the goals that you, the Board of Education, promised to partner with them to meet. Now today it is sad to say that it was not the children or parents who broke that promise, but you, the Board of Education. And like the past, you have shown an absolute disregard for our parents and children in your decision-making procedures. But I say thank you, because your decisions have motivated the need for our community to educate ourselves and form this community school board. Understand and progressively seek the success for our children's education. We will not stop pursuing this until we can build our own schools and support our own children's education, because this Board of Education has proven that it cannot be trusted with our most valued gifts, our children. Not one more child should be put in prison by the school system based on faulty trumped-up accusations. No more families will be split up by a juvenile system designed as the school system is designed to retard the intellectual development of our children and stunt the growth economically in our communities. We have a serious mission of making sure RECA and PLC exist. Therefore, I'm proud to serve as your first president of the Community School Board, whose chairman is none other than Estella Wright. My job is to seek committed parents, teachers, administrators, and all interested parties to start on this Exodus journey with us from pity to power, a movement that not even a government can suppress. Mr. Kamayi Dickerson, I am president.
Hello, I am Kiara Moses, a 9th grade scholar at Richard Early College Academy. Coming to RECA has become a decision of a lifetime. RECA has done so many things for me that I cannot write the words or explain to you verbally. First of all, RECA is more than a building where we come to learn, but the administrators, staff, and students have made this a place of care, refuge, and security. RECA was birthed in Glenn County and has deep roots and a strong foundation that began when you, the Glenn County Board of Education, approved the dream and placed in our midst a wonderful staff and administrators who care about our future. We come together standing on the promise that is rooted in our hearts, where the dream of Dr. Cave has become a reality, and we as a body refuse to let it die. For teachers, this is not just a mere job to them, but a connection to the future. The teachers care for each of the students and have a zeal to help us succeed. They are willing to take time out of their busy schedules to make sure that we have what we need. Over the past 3 years, each teacher has helped to build me up. I now feel that there is nothing that I can't do. Each teacher has showed me to never take anything for granted and to appreciate myself. Also,